Talk more about today's market action and bring in TD Ameritrade Stephanie Lewicky. Stephanie, great to have you with us.
Great to be here, Melissa.
Stephanie, would you agree with Pete in terms of the investor search for quality versus trying to name this sort of market move, growth versus value, or take your pick in terms of sectors?
I would agree, and I have to say I am in Chicago, and I'm not very happy about the news from Mayor Lori Lightfoot that are going to be locked down for additional 30 days. I was hoping to finally get out there. You know, at least my kids can still go to daycare. They're still in school. Their school is open, so that is a blessing. But in terms of the markets and what Pete said, we saw Monday and Tuesday, we thought it was this big rotation out of the FANG names, the growth names, the tech names into the value names. We saw the Russell outperform the S&P on a huge way, and we saw that Monday and Tuesday, and we were thinking, is this the new trend? Are our investors starting to go to value and get away from those big growth names and into industrials, into materials? And then it flipped yesterday, and today we got really no love for anything. We did have the NASDAQ leading the way for part of the day, but every S&P 500 sector closed in the red, so no love really for any sector today, Melissa.
It's Karen. Thanks for being on today. Let me ask you, do you think that if we get some positive news out of Moderna, let's say, would might be the most likely one in the near term, that we will see again that, that value on trade?
I think we could. So I think it's a binary event, really. On Monday, S&P got up to 36 or 35.80 on the cash. So S&P got up to, 36.45 on the cash on Monday. So an intraday record high on that Pfizer news. If we get news again on the positive front, I think some of the news might be baked in because, again, we really are close to all-time highs. You know, I'm surprised at the resiliency of the market, but I do think a lot of it right now is based on vaccine news and that it's binary. There's 200 plus companies out there right now that are working on vaccines. At any minute, at any moment, we can hear from one of them. And I would think that we could get a repeat of Monday's action, Karen.
Stephanie, great to speak with you. Thank you for your time. Stephanie Lewicky of TD Ameritrade. Tim Seymour, let's cross the boundaries of growth and value. What are some of the quality names that you still like?
Well, and just, the things that Stephanie was saying is we're going to get a vaccine at some point. So are you really looking to be, you don't want to be short the market, and I'm not suggesting she was saying that. Everything I hear is we're going to get a vaccine. And Monday was an important step towards that, even if it wasn't that final stop. So what do you do now? Well, first of all, I think there is obviously the most quality is, and this is Pete's term, and I think there's even some value in some of those mega cap tech names. We'll talk about Cisco's earnings, but I think after being beaten down and a lot of the cyclicality in a name like that is something you watch. But Google for sure. Google's a name that is delivering really for both the stay-at-home economy and I think the economy that's going to open back up. So this is why no matter what we do, rotate value growth. I mean, we do this every night because this is what the market gives us every day. But ultimately, that's not a trade that suddenly is going to get shut off. Yeah. And yes, there's an argument about valuations with Amazon and even Apple, and but I think ultimately that is where quality lies, and that's why those names never run too far. Mentioned this yesterday. We've had a 14.5% correction in the Nasdaq, an 11% correction in the Nasdaq in the last 3 months. Maybe that's all you need to get.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.